Hello and welcome to The Culture Show. My guests today are an intriguing phenomenon. A decade ago, they set out to rework and modernise tango and invited Argentinian musicians to join them. In the process, they mixed tango with a dash of anything from dub to house to jazz. Since then, this electro tango has been called melodious, brave and adventurous. Welcome now to Christophe, Philippe and Eduardo from the Gotan Project. Welcome.
Hola, ¿qué tal?
Now, just to start with, Nouvelle Tango. Many said in the beginning it was a nice idea, but it was never going to catch on. 10 years on, how wrong they were.
Very wrong, very wrong. But we were maybe the first ones, to be really surprised about the success. When we started in the studio, we did 2 tracks. They were released on the vinyl that was sort of, for underground. It started really underground for DJs. And, and then with time, it started just growing. And we were really so surprised. And we continued to do new tracks because there was demand. So we did new tracks. And in the end, we had this first album, La Revancha del Tango.
So how did it all start? Did you just pick 2 types of music that you liked and decide to fuse them together? Or where did the idea come from?
It's kind of that. It's more the meeting of 3 people together working in the studio and experiment music that never heard before. Everybody knows about tango, but we worked particularly on the Argentinian tango, which is specific. I think for us it's more groovy than the other tangos. And also we started to... Christophe and me were coming from the electronic music scene. Eduardo was coming from the tango music scene. And together we joined the studio and start to do a few tracks, just a couple of tracks. And after another couple of tracks, it's because of the response of the DJs and all the people that we were really encouraged by that and continue to experiment and finally do an album, which was called La Revancha del Tango, and after a tour. So it was really like, it was not a concept or something that was written on the paper. Oh, let's mix tango and electronic, it's going to work. No. It was just like a musical experience that we did just for pleasure. And the pleasure we had maybe was shared by the others.
And the first album, which is called, excuse my pronunciation, La Revancha del Tango, which means Tango's Revenge. It was sort of what it was, wasn't it? It was Tango's Revenge. Tango is back.
Yeah, sweet revenge, because tango is one of the big musical styles of the 20th century. You can, put it like jazz or rock music or something. But what had happened is there was such a huge repertoire and everyone was just playing repertoire, again, at very high level, but it sort of needed mutation, something new, some new creation. And, that's sort of what we did. We started experimenting with it, maybe breaking some codes, playing around with it. And so we ended up with our own style. And I think that was the kind of sweet revenge. Also, for all the people who would say tango is just music for old people or something, or it's really cheesy or something, So we with the kind of the music we brought in with our style, with the electronic stuff, the dub and all this, brought elements that were more abstract into some music that was sort of really very realistic and very physical. And I think there's really an interesting balance between these 2.
And Eduardo, tell us, what did the tango musicians in Argentina make of this music? Did they think, what? This isn't pure tango. Did they like it?
We work already with great Argentinian musicians based in Paris. I think all the tango scene in Argentina accept our music. They were glad to hear a new style, une nouvelle façon de faire du tango.
A new way to do the tango. Okay, well, 10 years on, you're here with your 3rd album, which is called Tango 3.0. Are you still trying to break new ground, or are you just trying to sort of smooth out what you've done before?
No, when we are in studio together, we have one mantra, one thing that we all do, is never repeat ourselves, because our territory is tango. It's a limited territory in some ways, but tango is so huge, such a huge universe. You can say tango like you can say jazz or rock, but there is no limit to rock or jazz or even tango. So it's true that on this album we try to bring tango to other territories, like we try to bring tango to blues or even to bluegrass on some tracks, or of course jazz. We have a lot of horns, which is a new sound for us because on tango it's not so common to have horns or brass on tango. And each track is an experience. So we are the first to be surprised by the tracks and also by the album. So we you know, we don't want to repeat ourselves, that's for sure, on stage or on studio.
Okay, well, it's enough talking. Let's have a listen now. Yeah. This one is called La Gloria, and it's from the new album.
Una tarde espectacular, un partido impresionante. Toma la pelota Nini Flores de Corrientes, un verdadero duende, un mago del bandoneón. Hábil y musical, siempre inspirado. Lo va dejando para el ruso Beitelman. Gustavo Beitelman, auténtico gaucho judío de Venado Tuerlo. Un sabio, quizás el músico argentino más importante residente en Europa. Va dejando la pelota para Lynn Cruz, la violinista danesa tanguera, dinamita en los dedos y en el alma. Bellísima, va tocando la pelota por el costado para Christoph Müller. Christoph Müller se acerca al área. La va dejando para Filippo Solal. Philip Cohen toca para Eduardo Macaró. Está frente al arquero, va a tirar Diogo.
There we go, that was La Gloria. Now, we heard a little bit there from the football commentator, the celebrated one, Victor Hugo Morales. What's his role in your music? How did he pop up?
Well, he actually, you know, does this for us. He's a very famous football commentator. He's probably the most famous one. Everyone knows his voice. I mean, at least everyone who likes football, for sure. So, you know, football is one of the big things in Argentina. There's tango. If you reduce it to simple, it's tango and football. So we're playing around with myth from tango, Argentina, so football. At some point, we wanted to treat it. And this was our way to do it, because he's not talking about really football. He's like doing an imaginary game between us and our musicians. And there's no other team anyway. It's just us, you know. And he improvises and says really great things about our musicians. Everyone plays the ball to one to the other. It's also kind of a way how we work. And it's a bit making fun of ourselves, about the concept of glory, of course. And in the end, it's our Argentinian friend who makes the goal, who's transformed into Gotan. So for all the people who think it sounds like a sample from a football match, it's not at all. Victor Hugo Morales was recorded in Buenos Aires, you know, doing this for us. So it was a great honor also for us that he did this.
How much of your success is a lot down really to your live performances? There's a lot going on there. There's dancers often, there's film. Where does all that inspiration come from?
From anywhere, you know, we try just to break the codes and the cliche with tango music, the music cliche, but also the visual cliche that you can find in the tango culture, or also the electronic music scene. There is always the same kind of VJ thing that we try to always avoid, you know. We work since 10 years with the same artist. She's called Prisca Lovejoy, and she's really very inspired, and she succeed to express through our visual poetry, you know, all the emotion that you can find in tango, you know, all the sensuality, even on the new album and the new live show, it's more the erotic side of tango. So it's about that. So the inspiration is coming from anywhere. She's coming from the contemporary art scene, but now she's a videoist and photographer for us. And it's like a kind of dialogue between music and visuals. And on stage, it's true that Gotan Project is not just a concert. We are 7 musicians on stage, of course, but there is a real show. It's not like, you know, like Jean-Michel Jarre kind of thing at all. You know, it's more about the intimacy and something. We try to bring the audience to a sort of trip, visual trip or imaginary trip between Paris and Buenos Aires and other places.
Okay, we're out of time at the Gotan Project. Thank you so much for coming in and being our guest on France 24.
You're welcome, merci.
And the Gotan Project's new album is called Tango 3.0, and you can see them in concert here in Paris on the 17th of May at the Olympia. Thanks for joining us. I'll see you tomorrow.